Which single player video games would you consider a masterpiece? Stardew Valley. Absolutely amazing. It was made by one guy, and in only 4 years. That just seems like an insane amount of work. Writing all the music, all the dialogue, designing all the graphics. I would be constantly second guessing myself and never get it done. Dead Space. Objectively, when someone tells me that 1 is better than 2, I understand and agree. However, personally, oh boy do I love 2 so much more for some reason. It's got a better degree of action and mechanics are a bit more refined. And the animations are better. In the first one, aiming your gun at the ceiling results in Isaac snapping his spine in a 90-degree angle to look up. Lol. You aren't alone. I always felt the pace of Dead Space 2 along with the improvements to controls and variety of areas made it the better game. Both games are masterpieces and prime examples of why sound design is so important to video games. Hollow Knight. Higher beings. These words are for you alone. Beyond this point you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom. Hallownest. Super Mario 64. Don't get me wrong, Mario 64 is perfection and holds up so well even today. But Super Mario Sunshine will always have that special place in my heart. God of War. I'm assuming you mean the 2018 title, and goddamn, it's genuinely shocking that I had to scroll so far down to see it here. At its core it's a simple hack and slasher, but it can also verge on legitimately tactical gameplay if you want to take it there. Such a fun game, through and through, and dear god, the writing. A compelling story, told exceedingly well. For my money it's the best game of the last 5 years, at least, as far as a total package is concerned. The Shadow of Colossus. This is an example of something transcendent, more than just a game as art, a beautiful experience. It's pretty neat, I guess. Shadow of the Colossus. SMH my head up. Portal 2. It's crazy how at the end you just know what you got to do when they show the moon. But the real genius of the design is that, in that brief moment, you feel like it's your idea, and that you're clever for having had it. Sublime stuff. Portal is great at making you feel like an idiot and a genius at the same time. BioShock. I'm starting this journey on the weekend. A lot of recommendations for people telling me to play this. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is one of my favorite games of all time. I'd consider it a masterpiece for sure. One of the closest a game has come to perfect in my opinion. It was perfect in my eyes. I want to add one that I personally think cemented Nintendo as the best handheld system. Pokemon Gold/Silver. I have such amazing memories of that game. Discovering the legendaries for the first time. Meeting the dogs. Fighting the Elite Four. It was amazing. If someone were to ask me which Pokemon game they should play to get into the series, I would tell them Gold/Silver. Masterpiece status in my eyes. Also, 2 Pokemon games in it. It was such an experience. Chrono Trigger. Legendary game. I've played this once every year for the last 3 years. It's different every single time. If they ever decide to reboot this series, I hope it lives up to the name. Was gonna mention this if nobody had mentioned it. I still have my original cartridge, box, and manual. It's one of my most treasured possessions, not only because it is still amazing to this day, but it was a birthday gift for my 10th birthday in '95 from my late sister. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Most of the MGS games I'd say. Currently playing through them again and just finished MGS2 the other day. Almost forgot how mad it gets at the end. The Elder Scrolls III, Morrowind, was one of those games where I would just walk around floored. I was so immersed. Survive an ash storm, walking around practically blind. When the air clears up, and before you is a floating transparent octopus gone blimp creature as big as the Hindenburg, which allows you to walk up and inspect it as it lazily floats off because it's non-hostile. Continue making your way east, still thinking about the blimp thing, when you come across Vivek City, poised over a placid lake of the most beautifully rendered water of its time. Mystified, walk into the city and find it bustling with raspy voiced guardsmen, traders of all wares, and people just living and getting by. Everything about the buildings are unique to Vivek, down to the architecture and coloring from floor to ceiling. Game had its flaws, but that first playthrough was fucking amazing. I couldn't believe I got it bundled free when I bought it, then new Voodoo 3, intended mainly for Quake 3 and Tribes 2. The Last of Us. The multiplayer was surprisingly really good too. Best multiplayer MMO. It was just so different from other shooter multiplayer / death matches I played. The crafting was cool, and being able to level up during a match added the feeling of progression from a short match. And it really rewarded communication. Anytime I was able to talk to at least 3 of my team members, we did so much better than if we were all silent. Dragon Age Origins. That game had me hooked from the start. It had such a sense of dark / dread atmosphere during dialogue. My favorite memory of that game is everything that happened at Redcliffe. Going back in Inquisition was just not the same. One of the best RPGs ever made. It's so sad that the BioWare that made incredible games like this and the Mass Effect original trilogy appears to be gone at this point. RIP. I don't think Okami has been mentioned yet, so I'll mention it. Yup. I've had fun games, exciting games, interesting games. Never before Kami had I stopped to think about how beautiful a game could be. Plus a big story with lots and lots to do. I remember that I kept thinking I was getting close to the end, and then it just kept going. I was so happy. Paper Mario. It's a damn shame what they've done to that series. First 2 games were amazing. Third was still pretty good. Then, you don't like to talk about it. The way I heard what happened, Nintendo sat down and realized they had 2 similar series, Paper Mario and Luigi. Both of them being turn-based RPGs felt redundant. They wanted to distinguish the 2 by changing one, and they ultimately decided to change Paper Mario. Super Metroid. Metroid Prime 2. Prime is the only game I fully lost myself in. At times I wasn't playing a game, I was simply surviving. As I leveled up, it didn't feel tedious to go back to earlier sections, it felt satisfying to annihilate the previous obstacles. Metroid Prime was amazing, so much effort and time put in trying to get 100% lore and everything. Way harder than games nowadays. Miss the eerie music too, it would play when something is going on. It always stuck with me. Zelda, A Link to the Past. That little 16-bit system was not only entertaining for you, but for your cats. If you had the TV on the floor and went to the village, you could spend hours running around the village and your cat would chase Link. Okay, being pointed out to me that it was a 16-bit system. Fixed. I keep realizing a lot of these SNES games aged so well. They really did. Some people say it's all nostalgia, but I disagree. I recently played Chrono Trigger for the very first time. Zero nostalgia attached. I wanted to play what has often been hailed as one of the greatest RPGs of all time. I assumed for sure that it would be a janky mess by modern standards. Instead, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Even the 16-bit graphics are endearing in a way. I wouldn't change a damn thing. It's a masterpiece. Doom, the classic one. Not only was Doom a masterpiece, it was also a watershed moment in video gaming. I'd go so far as to say there are 2 eras of video games, before Doom and after. Bloodborne. Super Mario Bros. 3. Red Dead Redemption. Bloodborne should be higher up this list. Never felt so much satisfaction in finishing a game. I did get good. I felt like it hit the perfect level of aggressive combat. I'm still running into a brick wall with Sekiro on Jitting Good, and I've platinumed every other FromSoft game. This is absolutely on another level of difficult for me, haha. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Fallout, New Vegas. OMG New Vegas. I need to re-download this game and play it again. COTA 1/2 were classics too. Great suggestions. Fun fact, if you play NV on PC and own the Fallout 3 GOTY version, you can use a mod called Tale of Two Wastelands to merge the 2 games together. It essentially lets you play Fallout 3 in NV's modified engine, and you can travel between both Nevada and the DC wasteland. Okay guys, don't forget to hit that sub button, also ring that shiny bell, like and share too. and check out other videos in our channel.